The door to my dorm room flew open with a crash, and there he stood, Jake Harlan, the guy who'd made my high school years a living hell, his face pale and twisted with desperation. "Eric, please, I need to talk to you," he gasped, his voice cracking as if the words were ripping him apart from the inside. I froze, my heart pounding like a drum in my chest. The bully who'd tormented me for being different, now looking like a man on the edge of breaking, ready to spill secrets that would change everything. I slammed the door in his face, but he pounded on it relentlessly, his muffled pleas seeping through the wood like poison. "Eric, open up. You don't understand. It's about us. Us. There had never been an us." Back in our small-town high school in upstate New York, Jake was the star quarterback, the golden boy with a smirk that could cut like a knife. He'd corner me in the lockers, shove me against the cold metal, and hiss words like "faggot" under his breath while his buddies laughed. I'd swallow the humiliation, hide the bruises, and pretend it didn't eat away at my soul. But now, in my sophomore year at NYU, far from that suffocating suburb, he tracked me down. I yanked the door open again, fury boiling over. "What the hell do you want, Jake? Come to finish what you started." He pushed inside before I could stop him, his broad shoulders filling the tiny space, and collapsed onto my bed like his legs had given out. I can't do this anymore," he muttered, burying his face in his hands. His body shook, and for the first time, I saw cracks in the armor he'd worn like a second skin. Jake Harlan, the untouchable jock, was unraveling. He looked up, eyes red-rimmed, and the words tumbled out. "I'm gay, Eric, and I've been in love with you since junior year." The room spun. Love? From the guy who'd tripped me in the halls, spread rumors that got me isolated, made me question if I'd ever fit anywhere? It felt like a cruel joke, but his gaze held no mockery, only raw, aching truth. I backed away, hitting the desk, papers scattering like my thoughts. "You're lying," I spat, but even as I said it, memories flooded back. The way his taunts always lingered a second too long, the flicker of something unspoken in his eyes during those confrontations. He'd been fighting his own demons, projecting them onto me, but that didn't erase the pain. "You ruined my life, Jake. Do you know how many nights I cried myself to sleep because of you?" He winced, nodding slowly. "I know, and I hate myself for it. My dad, he's this hardcore conservative, always preaching about real men. If he knew, he'd disown me. I thought if I hurt you, it'd make me feel straight, normal. But it didn't. It just made everything worse." We stood there in silence, the weight of years pressing down. I wanted to scream, to throw him out, but a part of me, the part that had always sensed a kindred spirit buried under his cruelty, hesitated. "Why now?" I demanded. He swallowed hard. "I saw you at that campus pride event last week. You looked free, happy, and it hit me like a truck. I can't keep pretending, but I get it if you hate me. I deserve it." Hate him? It was more complicated than that. The bully had become the broken, and in that moment, I faced my first impossible choice. Turn him away and protect my healing heart, or listen and risk reopening old wounds. As days turned into weeks, Jake's confession hung over me like a storm cloud. I avoided him at first, dodging his texts and calls, but New York City wasn't big enough to hide forever. We ran into each other at a coffee shop near Washington Square Park, the kind of accidental meeting that felt scripted by fate. He was sitting alone, nursing a black coffee, looking smaller than I remembered. "Eric," he said softly as I passed, and something in his voice made me stop. Against my better judgment, I sat down. "This doesn't mean I forgive you," I warned. He nodded, eyes downcast. "I don't expect you to. Just hear me out." He poured out his story then, piece by painful piece. Growing up in a family where his father, a former military man, ruled with an iron fist. Bible verses quoted at dinner. Slurs thrown casually about those people. Jake had known he was different since middle school, but admitting it meant losing everything. His scholarship, his friends, his identity as the perfect son. "Bullying you was my way of proving I wasn't like you," he admitted, voice trembling. But every time I did it, I felt sick. You'd look at me with those eyes, and I'd see myself reflected back, scared, alone. I listened, my anger thawing into reluctant empathy. I'd faced my own battles, coming out to my progressive parents in senior year, only to have them worry more about my safety than celebrate. But Jake's world was a cage, and he'd lashed out at the one person who mirrored his hidden self. Our conversations became a secret routine. Late-night walks through the city, sharing stories under the glow of streetlights. I told him about the therapy sessions I'd needed after high school, the panic attacks triggered by memories of his cruelty. He shared how he dated girls to fit in, each relationship a hollow performance that left him emptier. I thought if I pushed you away hard enough, I'd push away my feelings too, he confessed one night by the Hudson River. The water lapped against the piers, a soothing counterpoint to the turmoil inside me. Was this redemption or manipulation? I couldn't tell, but the more we talked, the more I saw the human behind the monster. A young man drowning in expectations, just like I had been. Yet trust didn't come easy. One evening, as we sat on a bench in Central Park, Jake reached for my hand. I pulled away instinctively. "Don't," I said sharply. "You don't get to do that after everything." Hurt flashed across his face, but he backed off.
"I'm sorry."
Being near you feels right, right? Nothing about this felt right. My friends warned me when I confided in them. He's toxic, Eric. Don't let him drag you down. But ignoring him meant ignoring the pull I felt too. A connection forged in shared pain. That night, I lay awake, wrestling with the moral tangle. Could I separate the boy who'd hurt me from the man seeking atonement? And what did it say about me if I tried? The tension built as Jake's double life began to crack. His father visited the city for a weekend, expecting to see his son thriving at Columbia on a football scholarship. Jake invited me to a neutral dinner, disguised as just friends. But the air was thick with unspoken lies. Mr. Harlan was a towering figure, his handshake crushing, his questions probing. "So, Eric, you went to school with my boy? He ever tell you about his glory days on the field?" I forced a smile, but inside, I seethed. This was the man who'd instilled the hate that Jake had weaponized against me. As the meal dragged on, Jake's leg bounced under the table, his facade slipping. When his dad made an offhand joke about queers ruining sports, Jake's face went ashen. I excused myself to the bathroom, heart racing, wondering if this was the moment everything exploded. Back at the table, Jake steered the conversation away, but the damage was done. Later, alone in his dorm, he broke down. "I can't keep lying to him, Eric. But if I tell the truth." His voice trailed off, fear etching deep lines on his young face. I wanted to comfort him, but resentment bubbled up. "You think it's easy for me? Forgiving you means betraying the kid I was, the one you broke." We argued then, voices rising, accusations flying. "You act like you're the only victim," he shouted. "I've lost everything too." The fight ended with him storming out, leaving me alone with the echo of our words. In that solitude, I realized the depth of our entanglement. His redemption was tied to my forgiveness, and both came at a steep price. Weeks after that blow-up, Jake and I circled each other like wary animals, our fragile truce shattered. I threw myself into my studies, majoring in psychology as if understanding the human mind could unravel the mess he'd made of mine. But echoes of him lingered, in the way a stranger's laugh mimicked his, or how the city lights reminded me of our walks. Then, a text came late one night. "Need to see you. Emergency." My pulse quickened. Was this another ploy? I met him at a dimly lit bar in the village, where he sat hunched over a soda, looking like he hadn't slept in days. "My roommate found my journal," he whispered, eyes darting. "He read about me. He's threatening to out me to the team." The revelation hit like a punch. Outing someone was a betrayal of the worst kind, a violation that could destroy lives. "What are you going to do?" I asked, my own fears resurfacing. He shook his head. "I don't know. If the coach finds out, I lose my scholarship. My dad, God, he'd kill me." I saw the terror in his eyes, the same I'd felt when rumors spread about me in high school. Courtesy of him. Irony twisted like a knife. Karma's a bitch, huh? I said bitterly, but regret followed immediately. This wasn't about revenge. It was about survival. Against my instincts, I offered, "Stay with me tonight. We'll figure it out." He crashed on my floor, the space between us a chasm filled with unspoken tension. As dawn broke, we talked strategy. Confront the roommate, deny if needed, but Jake's resolve wavered. "Maybe I should just come out," he murmured. "End the hiding." The idea thrilled and terrified me. Supporting him meant diving deeper into his chaos, risking my own peace. But walking away felt like abandoning someone on the brink. That morning, we faced his roommate together. The guy, a burly lineman named Trent, sneered as we entered. "So, this is your little secret, Harlan?" Jake stood tall, voice steady. "Yeah, it is. And if you spread it, you're the asshole, not me." Trent backed down, muttering threats but ultimately silent. It was a small victory, but it bonded us in a way words couldn't. As Jake integrated into my world, cracks in my resolve deepened. My best friend, Mia, pulled me aside after seeing us together. "Eric, he's using you. This is classic abuser tactics. Hurt you, then play the victim." Her words stung because they echoed my doubts. Was I falling for a reformed bully? Or was this Stockholm Syndrome? Jake sensed my withdrawal and confronted me one afternoon in my dorm. "If you want me gone, say it. But don't pretend you're okay when you're not." His honesty disarmed me. "I'm scared," I admitted, "of getting hurt again." He nodded, stepping closer but not touching. "Me too. But being with you, it's the first time I feel real." Our relationship shifted subtly, from uneasy alliance to tentative romance. Stolen moments, a brush of hands in a crowded subway, shared glances over coffee. But shadows loomed. Jake's family Thanksgiving loomed, and he debated inviting me as a friend. "It could be a test run," he said hopefully. I agreed, nerves jangling. The drive to his parents' house in the suburbs was silent, tension thick. His mother welcomed me warmly, but his father eyed me suspiciously. "Eric, weren't you the kid Jake used to rough up in school?" The question hung like a noose. Jake jumped in, laughing it off. "Old history, Dad. We're cool now." But dinner turned into an interrogation. Politics, values, all laced with subtle homophobia. When his dad ranted about woke culture destroying America, Jake's fork clattered. "Enough," he snapped. The table froze. The argument escalated, voices rising. "You defending those people now?" his father bellowed. Jake's face hardened. "Those people are my friends. And maybe more." The slip was intentional, a spark to the powder keg. His dad exploded, chair scraping back. "What the hell does that mean?" Jake glanced at me, drawing strength. "It means I'm gay, Dad. And Eric, he's important to me." Silence crashed down, then chaos. His father roared denials, his mother wept, and I sat there, heart breaking for Jake as his world crumbled. We left that night, Jake disowned, his belongings shoved into a bag. In the car, he cried silently, the cost of truth laid bare. "Was it worth it?" he whispered. I squeezed his hand. "You tell me." But deep down, I wondered if my presence had pushed him too far, too fast. Back in the city, Jake moved in temporarily, our lives intertwining amid the fallout. He lost his scholarship when rumors spread. Trent had talked after all. Football dreams shattered. He worked odd jobs, his pride battered. "I gave up everything for this," he said one night, bitterness creeping in. For us. The word us carried weight now, but resentment simmered. I felt guilty, as if my forgiveness had lured him into ruin. Arguments flared, over money, over past hurts. "You act like I owe you," I yelled during one fight. "But you broke me first." He stormed out, leaving me to question if love could bloom from such poisoned soil. The strain of Jake's fallout rippled through our budding relationship like aftershocks. He crashed on my couch, job hunting by day and wrestling demons by night. I'd wake to find him staring at the ceiling, eyes haunted. I miss my family, he'd admit softly. Even with all the crap. I understood. My own coming out had been smoother, but the fear of rejection never fully faded. To support him, I introduced him to my LGBTQ support group on campus, a safe space where stories like ours were common. At first, he hung back, arms crossed, but gradually he opened up. Sharing his journey, the bullying as self-sabotage, the confession as liberation, earned nods of empathy. You're brave, one member said. Jake glanced at me, a small smile breaking through. I had help, but bravery came with backlash. Word got back to his old high school crowd, and social media erupted. Anonymous messages flooded his inbox. Traitor, freak, echoes of the hate he'd once dished out. One night, a group of former teammates cornered him outside a bar. Heard you're playing for the other team now, they jeered. Jake held his ground, but came home with a split lip. It's nothing, he insisted, but I saw the toll. Cleaning the wound, our eyes met, and for the first time he leaned in, our lips brushing in a tentative kiss. It was soft, uncertain, born of shared vulnerability rather than passion. Thank you for staying, he murmured. I pulled back, conflicted. Don't thank me yet. This is hard. Harder still when my family got involved. My parents, liberal academics from Brooklyn, invited us for dinner. They were polite but probing. So, Jake, Eric tells us about your past. My mom said gently. He tensed. I was an idiot. Worse than that. But I'm trying to make it right. My dad nodded thoughtfully. Trying is good, but actions matter. Hurt like that doesn't vanish. The evening was awkward, seeds of doubt planted. Later, my mom called me aside. Be careful, honey. People don't change overnight. Her words echoed Mia's warnings, fueling my inner turmoil. Was I naive to believe in Jake's transformation, or courageous for giving second chances? As winter blanketed the city, our bond deepened amid adversity. We attended Pride events together, Jake's first steps into visibility. At a rally against anti-LGBTQ legislation, he held a sign high, voice joining the chants. This feels right, he said afterward, exhilarated. But euphoria was short-lived. His father called unexpectedly, voice gruff. Your mother's worried sick. Come home, son. We can fix this. Jake hesitated, the pull of family strong. Fix what? Me? The call ended in shouts, but it reopened old wounds. Maybe I should go back, he pondered aloud. Pretend it was a phase. Panic surged in me. And what about us? Was that a phase too? Our argument turned vicious, accusations of abandonment flying. You're the one who pushed me to this, he yelled. I was fine before you. He left for the weekend, heading home to talk. I paced my dorm, imagining the worst, him caving to pressure, denying everything. When he returned Sunday night, face drawn, he collapsed into my arms. I told them it's real. No going back. Relief washed over me, but so did guilt. His mother had cried. His father disowned him fully, cutting off financial support. I chose you, he said, voice breaking. But it hurts. In that moment, holding him, I realized the depth of his sacrifice. Our kisses grew more frequent, comfort turning to affection, but always shadowed by the cost. Spring brought new challenges. Jake enrolled in community college, scraping by on loans and part-time work. I helped where I could, but resentment brewed. You have it easy, he snapped one day after a bad shift. Your parents accept you. Stung. I retorted. Easy? After what you did to me. The cycle of blame threatened to consume us. Therapy became our lifeline. I dragged him to sessions, where we unpacked layers of trauma. The counselor probed. Jake, why target Eric specifically? He shifted uncomfortably. Because he was everything I wanted to be. Open, unafraid. The admission floored me, reframing our history. Not just hate, but envy twisted into cruelty. Yet, as we healed, external forces conspired against us. A viral post from an old classmate exposed our story. High school bully turns gay lover? Hypocrite much? Comments poured in, dissecting our lives like a spectacle. Strangers debated if Jake deserved forgiveness, if I was a fool. The scrutiny intensified our doubts. One evening, over takeout, Jake asked, "Do you regret letting me in?" I paused, honesty raw. Sometimes, but mostly no. He nodded, but vulnerability lingered. Our relationship, forged in fire, now faced the test of public judgment. The breaking point came at a campus party. Trent showed up uninvited, drunk and belligerent. "So, this is the happy couple," he slurred, eyeing us. Jake stepped forward. "Leave us alone." But Trent shoved him, words turning to blows. I jumped in, pulling them apart, but not before fists flew. In the aftermath, Jake nursed a black eye, defeat in his posture. "This is my fault. All of it." Tears welled. "Maybe you deserve better." The words hung heavy, forcing me to confront my own truth. Loving him meant accepting the baggage, the ongoing battles. "We both deserve better," I said, "but we'll fight for it together." That night, as he slept beside me, I wondered if our love was salvation or mutual destruction. Summer heat smothered the city, mirroring the intensity of our lives. Jake found steady work at a bookstore, a far cry from his athletic past, but it grounded him. We spent evenings exploring neighborhoods, hands linked defiantly. "This is what freedom feels like," he'd say, smiling genuinely for the first time. But freedom wasn't free. His estrangement from family gnawed at him, evident in quiet moments when he'd scroll through old photos, eyes misty. "I miss my little sister," he confessed. "She doesn't understand why I left." I encouraged him to reach out, but fear held him back. What if they poison her against me? My own conflicts surfaced too. Interning at a mental health clinic, I counseled others on forgiveness, yet struggled with my own. A client, victim of bullying, mirrored my story. "How do you move on?" she asked. I faltered, images of Jake flashing. "It's a choice, every day." Hypocrite, I thought. Back home, I confronted him. "Do you ever think about the damage you caused? Not just to me, but to yourself." He sighed, pulling me close. "Every damn day. But being with you, it's my redemption." His words soothed, but doubt lingered like a shadow. A turning point came when Jake's mother contacted him secretly. "She wants to meet," he told me, excitement laced with nerves. We arranged a neutral spot, a cafe in Midtown. She arrived looking frail, hugging him tightly. "I've missed you, Jakey." Tears flowed as they talked, her apologizing for not standing up to his father. "He's stubborn, but he loves you." Jake shook his head. "Love shouldn't come with conditions." She glanced at me warmly. "You're good for him, Eric." The meeting ended on hopeful notes, a crack in the family wall. But his father remained unyielding, a reminder that acceptance wasn't guaranteed. Emboldened, Jake volunteered at an LGBTQ youth center, channeling his past into helping others. Watching him mentor a scared teen, sharing his story without shame, filled me with pride. "You're changing," I said later. He smiled wryly. "Thanks to you." Our intimacy grew, not physical in overt ways, but emotional, nights spent talking dreams, fears. Yet societal pressures mounted. At a family gathering of mine, an uncle quipped, "So, this is the reformed bad boy?" Laughter followed, but it stung Jake. "They see me as the villain," he muttered on the way home. "Maybe I am." The real test hit when Jake's father suffered a heart scare. Hospital calls pulled him back home, duty overriding resentment. "I have to go," he said, packing hastily. I nodded, hiding my anxiety. "Be careful." At the hospital, his family reunited awkwardly. His dad, weakened, grumbled apologies. "Didn't mean to drive you away." But conditions crept in. "Just tone it down." Jake faced a crossroads. Reconcile on their terms or hold his ground. He called me nightly, voice strained. "They want the old me back." I urged, "Stay true to yourself." But temptation whispered, family, stability. He returned after a week, conflicted. Dad offered to pay for school again, if I keep things quiet. The offer dangled like bait. Quiet meaning hide us? I asked, heart sinking. He nodded miserably. I told him no, but Eric, it's hard. Anger flared. So what? Pretend I'm just a roommate. The fight escalated, old wounds reopening. You don't get it. I've lost everything, he shouted. And I've given everything, I countered. He left again to a friend's couch, leaving me in silence. Days of radio silence followed, agony twisting inside me. Mia consoled me. Let him go. He's not worth this. But love isn't logical. When he showed up at my door, rain-soaked, determination in his eyes, hope flickered. I turned it down, he said. Told Dad if he can't accept all of me, including you, then no deal. Relief crashed over me, pulling him into an embrace. I'm proud of you. But the decision cost him. Final severance from his father, financial strain mounting. We scraped by, our bond tested but stronger. As fall approached, campus buzzed with energy, but our story became fodder for debate in psych classes. Can bullies truly reform? A professor posed. Students argued, some citing us anonymously. It forced introspection. Had Jake changed, or was it circumstance? One evening, walking through Times Square's chaos, he stopped. Eric, I love you. For real. The words, simple yet profound, shifted something. I love you too, I replied, meaning it despite the scars. Yet betrayal lurked. Trent, seeking revenge, leaked private messages, our confessions, arguments. Social media exploded again, twisting our narrative into sensationalism. From bully to boyfriend, Stockholm or true love? Headlines mocked. Jake spiraled, withdrawing. This is too much. I fought to hold us together, but cracks widened. In a heated moment, he lashed out. Maybe we should have never started this. The words cut deep, echoing his past cruelty. Was history repeating? The leak's aftermath was a whirlwind of damage control. Jake deactivated his accounts, isolating himself, while I fielded concerned calls from friends and family. This isn't healthy, my dad said firmly. You deserve peace. But peace felt elusive without Jake. I tracked him to the youth center, where he was mentoring as usual, mask firmly in place. We need to talk, I insisted. He avoided my eyes. What's left to say? I've ruined your life again. Self-pity laced his words, igniting my frustration. Stop playing the martyr. We both chose this. We hashed it out in a nearby park, voices low but intense. The world's against us, he argued. Maybe it's a sign. I shook my head. Or a test. We've come too far to quit. Slowly, he softened, admitting the fear driving him. Losing you terrifies me more than anything. Reconciliation came gradually, therapy intensified, boundaries set. We went public deliberately, posting a joint statement. Our story is messy, but it's ours. Judge if you must. But we're moving forward. Responses varied, support from allies, vitriol from detractors. But owning our narrative empowered us. Jake's mother bridged the family gap, visiting secretly. Over lunch, she shared, your father's softening. Give him time. Hope sparked, but Jake remained cautious. Time doesn't erase words. Still, her support bolstered him, easing the isolation. As senior year loomed for me, Jake transferred to NYU on loans, our paths aligning. Classes together fostered normalcy. Study sessions turning to laughter, reminding us why we fought. But moral dilemmas persisted. A documentary crew approached, wanting our story for an LGBTQ series. It could help others, Jake mused. I hesitated. At what cost? More exposure. We debated endlessly, impact versus privacy. Ultimately, we agreed, filming sessions dredging up painful memories. Reliving the bullying, Jake broke down on camera. I was the monster, he admitted. The director praised his honesty, but it drained him. Post-filming, he questioned, was it worth reopening those wounds? I held him. If it saves one kid, yes. Society's gaze intensified with the doc's release. Reviews praised our raw authenticity, but critics called it romanticized abuse. Online forums dissected, Forgiving bullies enables them. It sparked campus debates, friends taking sides. Mia distanced herself, saying, "I can't watch you get hurt." Loss stung, but Jake became my anchor. "We're in this together," he reaffirmed. A final confrontation with his father arrived unannounced. Mr. Harlan showed up at our apartment, face etched with regret. "I saw the documentary," he grunted. "Made me think." Jake stood rigid. "Think what?" "That I'm still your son." Tears glistened in the old man's eyes. "Always. I was wrong. Scared." The apology was halting, but sincere. They hugged awkwardly, a tentative mending. "And Eric?" his dad asked. Jake smiled. "He's family too." Inclusion felt surreal, a hard-won victory. With barriers crumbling, our relationship flourished. Graduation approached, futures intertwined. Jake pursued counseling, inspired by our journey. "I want to help others like us." Pride swelled in me, but reflections on choices lingered, the what-ifs of alternate paths. Had I rejected him that first night, would we both be freer or lonelier? In quiet moments, doubts resurfaced. During a walk in the park where it all deepened, Jake stopped. "Do you ever regret us?" Honesty compelled me. "Regret the pain? Yes, but not the growth." He nodded, pulling me close. "Me neither." Yet, as we built a life, the price paid echoed. Lost friends, fractured family, public scrutiny. Was love worth the wreckage? The story's end brought no tidy bow. We moved to a small apartment in Brooklyn, starting anew. Jake reconciled further with his family, holidays tentative but healing. I landed a job at a clinic, advocating for LGBTQ youth. Our bond, tempered by fire, held strong. But questions remained, fueling late-night talks. Did we make the right choices? We'd ponder. In the end, life's complexities defied simple answers. Jake's transformation from tormentor to partner challenged norms, sparking debates on forgiveness, change, and love's limits.